There's a drink that 19th century doctors prescribed for sick children, exhausted workers, and pregnant women. A drink that the poorest families in America made in their own kitchens, with ingredients that cost pennies, and that made anyone stronger, healthier, and more resilient in a matter of days. It had no label. It had no advertising. It didn't need it. It worked so well that word of mouth was enough. Today, this drink is no longer on the shelves. No major brand manufactures it. No supermarket sells it. And if you ask most people about it, they'll look at you with the face of someone who's never heard of it. But it's not because it stopped working. It's because it was too good to be sold. Stay with me until the end of this video. Because what you're going to learn here will completely change the way you think about what you put into your body, and about what was deliberately taken off your table. Let's go back to the beginning of the 20th century, in the rural states of the southern United States. Georgia, Tennessee, the Carolinas. Families who had nothing. No refrigerator, no supermarket, no spare money. But they had something we've completely lost: knowledge. Knowledge passed down from mother to daughter, from grandmother to granddaughter, within small, warm kitchens where nothing was wasted and everything had a purpose. In those kitchens, there was always a glass jar on the counter. Cloudy. Bubbling. With a strong, slightly acidic smell that bothered those who weren't used to it. Inside that jar was a living culture, a microscopic ecosystem that families fed every day as if it were a domestic animal. Because it was, in a way. It was a living being. And this living being produced the most powerful drink those families knew. They called it beet kvass. And if you've never heard that name, it's no coincidence. Raw beetroot is extraordinary in itself. It contains natural nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide, the compound that relaxes blood vessels and improves circulation in a way that no soft drink will ever be able to imitate. It contains betalains, pigments with anti-inflammatory properties documented in clinical studies. It contains folate, manganese, potassium, and vitamin C. It is nutrient-dense in a way that puts any industrial juice to shame. But fermented beetroot is a completely different creature. When you put raw beetroot in salt water and let natural fermentation happen, something incredible begins to occur inside the jar. The lactic acid bacteria naturally present on the surface of the root begin to multiply. They consume the sugars in the beetroot and transform them into lactic acid, the same compound that makes yogurt digestible, kimchi powerful, and sauerkraut armor for the gut. And in doing so, these bacteria do something that no factory can replicate: they increase the bioavailability of each nutrient within the root. The iron in beetroot, which is normally difficult to absorb, becomes readily available to the bloodstream. The betalains become more stable and more potent. And the resulting liquid, that dark red, slightly effervescent liquid, comes to contain billions of live probiotics that reach your gut still active, still working, still building the defense your body needs. The rural doctors of the time knew this. Not in the scientific terms we use today. But they knew from the results. They prescribed kvass for anemic patients because iron levels rose. They prescribed it for people with chronic digestive problems because the gut regulated itself in weeks. They prescribed it for workers with severe fatigue because energy returned in a way that no herb or alcoholic tonic could produce. It was medicine. Disguised as a drink. Homemade. Free. And here comes the question you need to ask. If it worked so well, if it was so simple, so cheap, so effective, why have you never heard of it? Why don't any public health campaigns teach this? Why don't schools teach it? Why do modern doctors rarely mention it? The answer is the same as always. You can't patent a beet. You can't charge royalties for salt and water. You can't build a corporate empire on a process that anyone with a knife and a glass jar can do in their own apartment. But you can do something different. You can substitute. In the 1950s, with the post-war economic boom and the massive expansion of the American food industry, industrialized beverages flooded the market with a surgical strategy. They didn't just sell a product. They sold an idea. The idea that modern was better. That factory-made was safer. The transparent, the colorful, the artificially carbonated, the one wrapped in shiny aluminum foil was superior to anything an illiterate grandmother could make in a dirty glass jar in the kitchen. And it worked. In a single generation, the knowledge disappeared. Mothers stopped teaching because they felt there was nothing left to teach. Daughters grew up never seeing a fermentation jar at home. And grandchildren reached adulthood completely dependent on an industry that charges them dearly for a synthetic shadow of what could be free. That's what you're drinking when you open a can of soda. It's not pleasure. It's the impoverished, dead, industrialized version of something your great-grandparents made with their hands that truly healed. But now you're going to learn how to make it again. You'll need 3 medium beets, preferably organic, but any beet will do. A tablespoon of non-iodized sea salt, because iodine kills the beneficial bacteria you're trying to cultivate. And filtered, Chlorine-free water. This is not optional. Chlorine exists to kill microorganisms and will destroy exactly what you are trying to create. Wash the beets well but do not peel them. The peel is where the highest concentration of wild yeasts and lactic acid bacteria lives. It is the engine of fermentation. Cut into medium-sized cubes, without grating, because grated beets release too much sugar too quickly and can create alcohol instead of lactic acid. Place the cubes in a clean glass jar. Dissolve the salt in the water and pour over the beets until completely covered. Cover with a cloth secured with a rubber band. Do not use a sealed lid now. Fermentation releases gases and a sealed jar will pressurize and may burst. Leave at room temperature, away from direct sunlight, for 48 to 72 hours. In warmer states like Florida or Texas in the summer, 48 hours is enough. In colder states like Minnesota or Wisconsin in the fall, it can take up to 4 days. You'll know it's ready when the liquid is slightly bubbly, with a pleasant, acidic smell, and the color has deepened to an intense dark red. Strain the liquid, store it in a glass bottle in the refrigerator, and drink a small glass, about 100 milliliters, every morning before eating anything. With an empty stomach, the probiotics reach the intestine without the gastric acid of the digestive process interfering. Absorption is maximized. The effect is immediate. And the leftover beetroot? Don't throw it away. It's pre-digested, soft, and rich in probiotics. Eat it as a side dish, mix it into a salad, put it in a sandwich. Nothing is wasted. Everything works. Now, something no one tells you that will double the results. In the first week, your intestines may react. Gas, slightly different from normal, a sensation of internal movement. This is not a sign that something went wrong. It's a sign that something is being corrected. Decades of intestinal imbalance are being reorganized by billions of beneficial bacteria that your body hasn't seen in a long time. Get through this week. On the other side of it, most people report more stable energy, lighter digestion, and a mental clarity they can't explain but don't want to lose. Your great-grandparents didn't need scientific study to know it worked. But now you have both, ancestral knowledge and the science that proves it. The question I keep thinking about is this: how much did this drink cost you? 3 beets. A spoonful of salt. Water. Less than $2. And how much would a bottle of premium kombucha, a drugstore probiotic supplement, a functional juice in sophisticated packaging with similar promises cost? $20, $30, $40 a month. The only difference between you buying health in a box and you making health in your own kitchen is information. Information that was systematically buried not because it was false, but because it was too true to be profitable. You just recovered that information. Now I want to know from you, have you ever heard of kvass? Have you ever made any fermented food at home? Tell me in the comments why the exchange of experiences here is what keeps this knowledge alive. If this video reached you, it wasn't through an algorithm, it was because someone shared it. Do the same. Send it to someone who needs to hear this. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now. Because next week I'm going to show you what farmers during the Great Depression era planted in their backyards that produced food for 20 years without replanting, without fertilizer, and without cost. A plant that has completely disappeared from American gardens and that no company wants you to know about. See you there.